Algeria, the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria is a country in the Maghreb region of North Africa. It is bordered to the northeast by Tunisia, to the east by Libya, to the southeast by Niger, to the southwest by Mali, Mauritania, and Western Sahara, to the west by Morocco, and to the north by the Mediterranean Sea. The capital and largest city is Algiers, located in the far north on the Mediterranean coast. Inhabited since prehistory, Algeria has been at the crossroads of numerous cultures and civilizations, including the Phoenicians, Numidians, Romans, Vandals, and Byzantine Greeks. Its modern identity is rooted in centuries of Arab-Muslim migration waves since the 7th century and the subsequent Arabization of the indigenous populations. Following a succession of Islamic Arab and Berber dynasties between the 8th and 15th centuries, the Regency of Algiers was established in 1516 as a largely independent tributary state of the Ottoman Empire. After nearly 3 centuries as a major power in the Mediterranean, the country was invaded by France in 1830 and formally annexed in 1848, though it was not fully conquered and pacified until 1903. French rule brought mass European settlement that displaced the local population, which was reduced by up to 1/3 due to warfare, disease, and starvation. The Sétif and Guelma massacre in 1945 catalyzed local resistance that culminated in the outbreak of the Algerian War in 1954. Algeria gained its independence in 1962. The country descended into a bloody civil war from 1992 to 2002. Spanning 2,381,741 square kilometers, 919,595 square miles, Algeria is the world's 10th largest nation by area, and the largest nation in Africa. It has a semi-arid climate, with the Sahara Desert dominating most of the territory except for its fertile and mountainous north, where most of the population is concentrated. With a population of 44 million, Algeria is the 10th most populous country in Africa, and the 33rd most populous country in the world. Algeria's official languages are Arabic and Tamazight. French is used in media, education, and certain administrative matters, but it has no official status. The vast majority of the population speak the Algerian dialect of Arabic. Most Algerians are Arabs, with Berbers forming a sizable minority. Sunni Islam is the official religion and practiced by 99% of the population. Algeria is a semi-presidential republic composed of 58 provinces, wilayas, and 1,541 communes. It is a regional power in North Africa and a middle power in global affairs. As of 2025, the country has the highest Human Development Index in continental Africa, and one of the largest economies in Africa, due mostly to its large petroleum and natural gas reserves, which are the 16th and 9th largest in the world, respectively. Sonatrach, the national oil company, is the largest company in Africa and a major supplier of natural gas to Europe. The Algerian military is one of the largest in Africa, with the highest defense budget on the continent and among the highest in the world, ranks 22nd globally. Algeria is a member of the African Union, the Arab League, the OIC, OPEC, the United Nations, and the Arab Maghreb Union, of which it is a founding member. Since the 2011 breakup of Sudan, and the creation of South Sudan, Algeria has been the largest country in Africa. It is also the largest country of the Mediterranean basin. Its southern part includes a significant portion of the Sahara. To the north, the Tel Atlas forms with the Saharan Atlas. Further south, 2 parallel sets of reliefs in approaching eastbound, and between which are inserted vast plains and highlands. Both atlas tend to merge in eastern Algeria. The vast mountain ranges of Ours and Nememsha occupy the entire northeastern Algeria and are delineated by the Tunisian border. The highest point is Mount Taha, 3,003 meters or 9,852 feet. Algeria's currency is the dinar, DZD. The economy remains dominated by the state, a legacy of the country's socialist post-independence development model. In June 2024, the World Bank's 2024 report marks a turning point for Algeria, which joins the select club of upper-middle-income countries. This economic rise, the result of an ambitious development strategy, places the country in the same category as emerging powers such as China, Brazil, and Turkey. In recent years, the Algerian government has halted the privatization of state-owned industries and imposed restrictions on imports and foreign involvement in its economy. These restrictions are just starting to be lifted off recently, although questions about Algeria's slowly diversifying economy remain. Algeria, whose economy is reliant on petroleum, has been an OPEC member since 1969. Its crude oil production stands at around 1.1 million barrels/day, but it is also a major gas producer and exporter, with important links to Europe. There are several UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Algeria, which includes Al-Qal'a of Beni Hammad, the first capital of the Hammadid Empire, Tipasa, a Phoenician and later Roman town, Djemila and Timgad, both Roman ruins, Mzab Valley, a limestone valley containing a large urbanist oasis, and the Kasbah of Algiers, an important citadel. The only natural World Heritage Site in Algeria is the Tassili en Ager, a mountain range. Modern Standard Arabic and Berber are the official languages. Algerian Arabic, Darija, is the language used by the majority of the population. Colloquial Algerian Arabic has some Berber loanwords which represent 8% to 9% of its vocabulary. Berber has been recognized as a national language by the Constitutional Amendment of May 8, 2002. Algeria has been at the crossroads of numerous cultures and civilizations. After a succession of Islamic Arab and Berber dynasties between the 8th and 15th centuries, it became a largely independent part of the Ottoman Empire, but at 1830 it was invaded by France and formally annexed in 1848. After World War II, Algeria was riven by a bitter fight for independence in the 1950s and early 1960s, with conflicting reports about the death toll. French historians estimate some 400,000 Algerians were killed, while Algeria says more than 1 million people died. The country later endured a brutal internal conflict after, when elections that Islamists appeared certain to win were cancelled in 1992, a low-level Islamist insurgency still affects Algeria. Geographically, the Sahara Desert encompasses most of the country, except for its fertile and mountainous north, along the coast, where most Algerians live. It has one of Africa's largest economies in Africa, due mostly to its large oil and gas reserves, and is a major supplier of natural gas to Europe. The country's military is one of the largest on the continent and its spending on defense the highest in Africa. Some key dates in Algeria's history. c. 600 BC, Carthaginians expand settlements along the North African coast. 4th century BC, Berbers form the single largest element of the Carthaginian army. 241–238 BC, revolt of the mercenaries, Berber soldiers rebel after being unpaid following Carthage's defeat by Rome in the First Punic War. 146 BC, Carthage is destroyed by Roman forces under Scipio Africanus. 2nd century BC, emergence of the Berber kingdoms of Numidia and Mauritania. 24 AD, Berber kingdoms become part of the Roman Empire. 429, Germanic Vandals invade North Africa and set up kingdom based on Carthage. 477–578, rise of the Moro-Roman kingdom, an independent Christian Berber kingdom centered in Altava. 533–34, Byzantine forces under Belisarius drive out the Vandals as part of the Emperor Justinian's reconquest of the Western Roman Empire. 578–708, Kingdom of Altava is a successor state to the previous Berber kingdom. It flourishes until the conquest of the area by the Umayyad Caliphate in the 7th and 8th centuries. 972–1148, Zirids, a Berber dynasty from modern-day Algeria, rules the central Maghreb from 972 to 1014 and the eastern Maghreb from 972 to 1148. 1050s to 1147, Almoravids, a Berber Muslim dynasty centered in the territory of present-day Morocco, established an 11th century empire over the western Maghreb, North Africa, and Al-Andalus, southern Spain, starting in the 1050s and lasting until its fall to the Almohads in 1147. 1121 to 1269, Almohads, a North African Berber Muslim empire that at its height, controls much of the Iberian Peninsula and North Africa. 1235 to 1557, Zayyinids, a Berber dynasty centered on the town of Tlemcen in northwest Algeria. 1509, Spanish conquer Oran. 1512, Turkish privateer brothers Orik and Heyerden, both known to contemporary Europeans as Barbarossa or Redbeard, operate successfully off Tunisia. 1519, after a Spanish attempt to take Algiers, an assembly of Algerian notables asks the Ottoman Sultan Selim to make Algiers part of the Ottoman Empire. Heyerden Barbarossa is named Beylerbeyi of Algiers, or Emir of Emirs. The province becomes key for the Turks, who see it as the spearhead of Ottoman power in the western Mediterranean. 1681–88, French-Algerian War, part of a wider campaign by France against the Barbary pirates, mainly Muslim pirates and privateers operating from North Africa to capture slaves for the Ottoman slave trade. In addition to seizing merchant ships, they raided coastal towns and villages in Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal, but also in the British Isles, Netherlands, and Iceland. 1783 to 1784, following attacks on Spanish merchant shipping, the Spanish Navy and allies bombard Algiers, destroying much of its fortifications. 1815, the Second Barbary War, between the United States and the Barbary coast states of Tripoli, Tunis, and Algiers. 1816, Britain and the Netherlands bombard Algiers in a bid to force the local ruler to stop enslaving Europeans. However, this does not completely end until the French conquest of Algeria. 1830, beginning of French conquest of Algeria. France occupies Algiers and seizes other coastal communities. Additional military forces are brought in over the following years to quell resistance in the interior, and encourage colonists to settle and farm. 1848, Algeria becomes a department of France, an integral part of France itself. It is a destination for hundreds of thousands of European colonists. Many Europeans settle in Oran and Algiers, and form a majority of the population in both cities by the early 20th century, about a fifth of the total population of Algeria. 1939 to 1945, the defeat of France in 1940 and the Anglo-American occupation of North Africa during World War II encourages hopes for independence. 1945, pro-independence demonstrations in Sétif. Thousands of Algerians are killed in the French suppression of ensuing unrest. 1954 to 1962, Algerian War of Independence. A major armed conflict between France and the Algerian National Liberation Front or FLN, which sees Algeria winning its independence from France. It is a complex conflict characterized by guerrilla warfare and war crimes. It also becomes a civil war between the different communities and within communities. Death totals vary between 400,000 and 1.5 million. Up to 1 million European colonists leave Algeria. 1962, Algeria becomes independent. 1976, Algerian, Moroccan armies clash over Western Sahara. 1989, new constitution removes the one-party state and moves country away from socialism to Western capitalism. 1991 to 2002, Algerian Civil War, with the Islamic Salvation Front, FIS, dominating the first of two rounds of legislative elections in 1991, and fearing the election of an Islamist government, the authorities cancel the elections. They ban the FIS, triggering a civil war between Algeria's armed forces and various Islamist rebel groups. Islamist militants conduct a violent campaign of civilian massacres. More than 100,000 people are thought to have died. 1999, Abdelaziz Bouteflika becomes president and introduces national reconciliation policy. 2007 onwards, Islamist insurgency campaign in the Maghreb and Sahel by Al-Qaeda in the lands of the Islamic Maghreb or AQIM, an Islamist militant organization that aims to overthrow the Algerian government and institute an Islamic state. 2019, President Bouteflika announces he will step down after street protests, driven by decade-long economic stagnation, unemployment, labor market segmentation and chronic corruption. Abdelmajid Tebboune becomes president. 2024, President Tebboune is elected for a second term. Various games have existed in Algeria since antiquity. In the Ors, people played several games such as El Kerba or El Kergeba, chess variant. Playing cards, checkers, and chess games are part of Algerian culture. Racing, fantasia, and rifle shooting are part of cultural recreation of the Algerians. Football is the most popular sport in the country. The Algerian national football team, known as the Desert Foxes, has a strong fan base and has achieved success both domestically and internationally. Algeria has a long history in other sports such as athletics, boxing, volleyball, handball, and the study of martial arts. Algerian athletes have competed in the Olympic Games and have won medals in various events. Many sports clubs and organizations exist in Algeria to promote and develop sports among young people. The Ministry of Youth and Sports in Algeria manages sport-related activities. Thank you for watching this video.